Hello, everyone. It is such a joy to join you all. I see we have some viewers on with us today. I wanted to come on, not going to be on before you too long, but wanted to come in to check in with everyone to let you guys know that I am doing well, even through the trials and tribulations that I've had to come through, ones that I never thought I would be facing at this point in my life. I will say that God is still good. His mercies endure forever. And God will give us the peace that surpasses all understanding that will guard our heart and our mind. So all is well. Even as I move through this place of grief, as I move into the next life without my mom. I am grateful for what God is doing and for how He's kept me. And I want to say thank you. Thank you to those who thought it not robbery to check in on me, my family, because not only did I experience a loss, but my family experienced a great loss, and even the community. My mom was a mother to the nation, so I want to say to you all, thank you. Thank you for whatever you did, whether it was sending flowers, whether it was the text, whether it was prayers, whether you came by, if you brought food, if you sent a card, if you gave money, whatever you did, if you showed up, that was good enough to let us know that we were on your hearts and minds. And I want to say thank you. Thank you for showing up for me. Thank you for showing up for us and for sharing your love with me. So I want to let everybody know because I haven't seen a lot of people, but I am okay. And God continues to get the glory. And today I wanted to share very quickly, like I said, I'm not going to be on before you, not going to be before you too long, but wanted to talk about grief, wanted to talk about us checking in with ourselves. I know we had before things transpired with me, we were talking about Note to Self, the authentic me. We were talking about the book that God has given me that we're constantly working through every week in our Bible study sessions. But I wanted to check in with everybody. I know that this month is where we recognize mental health worldwide on October the 10th. And it's also the month that we recognize breast cancer and domestic violence. And it's a time of the year that a lot of people have experienced great loss. A lot of people are coming up to the holidays. A lot of times when you're grieving, when you're going through a lot of things, it tends to be that things happen a lot more with our mental health during this time of year as we're moving into Thanksgiving and Christmas, that people tend to be in a different state of mind. And if we just look at our world today, our world is a whole different world. I mean, 5 years ago, we didn't know that we would be faced with dealing with COVID-19 and even the residue of COVID-19, the loss of so many people, the change of the world, everything has just changed. And so our mental state is different now. And so today I wanted to talk a little bit about our mental state as we talk about mental health coming up. That'll be 10/10/2022 is the National Day of Mental Health. And, I'm grateful that God has placed me in this arena with the mental health as a mental health professional. Not only that, but I also work with a group called Mental Health First Aid. So I want to take this time too, that if there are any churches, organizations out there, businesses, because we've even had persons from corporate America to reach out to us who are wanting us to come in to talk with you about mental health first aid. And what that is to give you an idea of how to look and to recognize a mental illness or that someone is having a crisis. You're not the professional, you're not a therapist, but you have the tools and you are aware of what's going on so that you can provide help for someone who may be in a crisis and get them to the right place. And so this is about a 8-hour course that we offer in the community. And also we can do it in one day, we can do it in 2 days. So if anybody's interested, we're going to be starting some classes in 2023, myself along with my co-facilitator, Lucila Beaton, who also speaks Spanish. So we offer this in English and in Spanish. You won't get much Spanish from me, but Lucila is very fluent in speaking Spanish and she's a great presenter. But wanted to talk today about you checking in with you, because as I've journeyed the last couple of months, I've had to do a lot of checking in with me. And some people have said, well, how are you doing? And I can only say I am, doing as best as I can do. And I am, reminded of hearing my grandmother sing the song one day at a time. When we were younger, we thought one day at a time, oh, they don't know what they're talking about, but now I literally understand what it means when it says one day at a time, because that's all I can live for is that one day at a time. And so when I feel like I need to take a minute to cry, guess what I do? I know the times I would have held it in, I would have tried to be strong for everybody else. But at this state of my life, if I feel like I need to cry, I cry. And I allow myself that moment to grieve. I allow myself that moment to really feel what I'm going through, because a lot of times in grief, we'll get bogged down with so many things. And I know a lot of people have been concerned, even about me, thinking that, my movement has been that I'm not grieving, but I am grieving. And I have learned that when that moment comes, that I'm going to take that moment to grieve. And I could be having a full-fledged conversation with you. We're good, we're laughing, we're talking. And the next thing you know, I may bust out in tears, because that's what grief does. I've often heard people say, it's like a wave, a beach wave. One minute you go on the beach and the water will just graze you. The next minute you go and you're overwhelmed with the water and you're beginning to sink because of just how the waves are coming in. And I say that about grief, that grief has its waves. Grief has a way of coming in and just coming in at different times and doing what it does. But while we are moving throughout life, we know we have stresses. We know we have things that trigger us, and even stress. Stress, there's good stress, there's bad stress. It's the good stress of work and starting a business and moving into a new home because you're excited, but it still can be a stressful moment. And then there's those things that are considered negative stress, like you arguing with someone, or you in conflict, or being challenged with life things. So I want to talk tonight very quickly about checking in with you, taking that moment to check in with you, taking that time to check in with you, knowing your stresses, knowing and being aware of those things that stress you. I know I can feel just when I'm about to come to that point, even in grief, where I may be about to cry, or I can feel that moment where I may be in a heated conversation with someone and I can feel myself rise. Being aware of yourself, and not only being aware, but taking that minute to step back, because you don't have to be the big one all the time, but take that moment to step back and to be aware of how you're feeling, and then take that moment to take care of yourself. And so the question I want to ask tonight is, what are the things that you enjoy doing? And find time in your life. I don't care how busy you are, and those of us that are in leadership, those of us that are in ministry, those of us that are in, running businesses, sometimes that's the worst thing we can do to ourselves. We don't take that moment to do those things that bring us that satisfaction, that pleasure, that enjoyment. Even if it is having that time with your family, letting things go, let it sit for a minute. Ministry will go on, but taking that time with family, because life is short. And we don't know who will be with us today or tomorrow, and taking those moments to enjoy each other, to be a part of each other's life. So taking that time to do those things that you enjoy. I found myself recently writing a list of things that I enjoy doing, and making sure that every day, if it's breathing, if it's sitting in the car extra minute, if it's pulling up at a park. I like to go to the duck pond in Anderson. Whatever that thing is that bring me that satisfaction, I'm taking a moment to do those things. So identify the first thing you want to do, or I'm asking you to do this week. Think about those things you enjoy. Think about the last time you did that. I remember when we were out for COVID, I hadn't been home. My day was a 7 o'clock in the morning to 7 o'clock at night, because I worked 9 to 5. When I got off, I would have to go do home visit with some of the children that I was working with. And so I'm 7 to 7. So that means time I come in, time I go out, I really didn't know what was going on in my neighborhood. And when I was working for home for 2 years of COVID, I was like, wow, there are kids in my neighborhood. I didn't even know kids were in my neighborhood. I could hear the birds chirping. I could see birds flying, because we get so stuck in our routine that we don't take time to be aware of what's around us. We don't take time, as they say, to smell the roses. And you may think now, I'm having this conversation, I got time, but we don't know what tomorrow will bring. And so take that time to give yourself that self-care. So I often talk, when I'm asked to come and talk with different organizations and to do presentations for some of the conferences in South Carolina and have even traveled to some other states to do conferences. One of the things I talk about, and I share this video, is called your why, knowing your why. And so often, a lot of us know our why. Sometimes we don't know our why, but that why is the thing that you're so passionate about, whether it's your job, whether it's your career, whether it's your business, whether it's ministry, whether it's that God-given talent that you have. That's your why. And so what I'm asking you today is to not only know your why, but check in with your why. And what is that why? Being willing to help yourself, being willing, the W, to help H, yourself. Why? And how do we help ourselves? We help ourselves through self-care. And what does self-care do for us? Self-care, it can help us, have longer life. It can keep us from being at risk for different sickness. Self-care can give us that opportunity to do the things that we enjoy. And self-care can help us relieve stress from out of our life. So know your why. Be willing to help yourself. Because you know what? I told someone this recently. I said, I don't have the capacity. While I'm still grieving through the loss of my mom, I'm still, in the midst of that, and working as a mental health professional and a team lead, a supervisor. I'm also, running a business, several businesses, and a nonprofit and a ministry. And so with my focus being on me and being on my state of mind, I don't have the capacity to even have things dumped on me in this season, because I have to put all my energy in taking care of me. And sometimes in our life, we have to stop everything. We have to literally stop everything, and we have to start considering ourselves. Because if I resort back to the old things I used to do, because when I would be stressed or when I have a crisis, the old things would be go eat sugar. Sugar would call my name. That's the pleasure that I want to go back to. But now I want to do something different, because I want to take care of my life. I want to love on me. I value me enough to love me. So I encourage you tonight, in the short snippet that I'm giving you, love on you. Walk in your why, but understand your why and be aware of your why. And that is being willing to help yourself. And that's through self-care. So a couple of things that I do, I want to share with you tonight is, one, I'm aware of myself. I know just when my emotions are going one way, and I know when they're going another way. And once I know, hey, I need to take a moment to step back, I take that moment to step back. And some of the things that I do, and you can Google this. There are a lot of things out there on YouTube that teaches you about deep breathing. There are even apps now that you can add on your phone that will help with meditation, mindfulness, and those different things. Take that moment to breathe. And I often, when I work with kids, I'll say, breathe in. You take that moment to breathe in, and I'll say, breathe out, and they'll blow it all out. And I'll even give them a balloon as a way to make sure that they're blowing that air back out, because that's an opportunity for us to release different things, emotions. It's going to help with our heart. It's going to help regulate our heart. So take a moment to do some deep breathing, relaxation exercise. Another thing that I do, because my career has been a lot of working with kids, but I work these same interventions on adults as well. The other thing I do is I ask them, I said, what are 5 things that you can see? And they'll name 5 things they can see. So what are 4 things you can hear? And they'll take time to name the 4 things that you can hear. What are 3 things that you can touch? And they'll take time to name those 3 things that they can touch. And then I ask, what are 2 things that you can smell, and what is 1 thing that you can taste? And so as you're asking yourself those questions, and go back and listen to the video, as you're asking yourself those questions, it gives you an opportunity to be aware, because sometimes we don't take time to hear and to listen and to see and to touch and to smell and to taste. We don't take time. We do so much so quick. We don't even take time to breathe. Sometimes we're just constantly moving about, that we're not giving our body that proper moment to breathe and to relax and to reset. So take that moment to do that. And then the other thing that I do, I'll ask people to draw a circle. And I'll say that circle represents, and I love to do this activity. And those of you that know me and have ever sat in any of my sessions, I do this a lot. I'll ask them to draw a circle, and I'll say, and that circle represents 100. And then drawing that circle and that representation of 100, I want you to tell me right now, whether it's emotion, feeling, whatever you want to put down on this paper, how do you feel? And it has to equal to 100. So what that means, I could say I'm 40% grieving, I'm 20% sad, I'm another 20% happy, I might be 10% upset, 5% angry, and another 5% I'm feeling great joy about an accomplishment. So that equals to 100. That allows me an opportunity to check in with myself and say, hey, where am I at today? Is everything about me going a negative way, or do I have a half of me going positive? And I like for half of me to be doing something positive. So wanted to share these tips with you tonight. I wanted to check in with you guys and let you know I'm still here, that everything I went through, it was necessary. Someone said to me, how you deal with it? I said, because I have no regrets. And when you live the life and you have loved ones and they leave us, and you know you've done everything within you to make sure that you did your part, you have no regrets. We miss them, but my heart is at joy knowing that to be absent from the body represents that my mom is present with the Lord, and not only her, but other loved ones that I've lost. So I know that it is her desire that I would continue to move on. And life is hard moving on without her. I have those moments I want to hear from her. But as we're moving forward in these next couple of days, as we're moving forward into the National Day of Mental Health, I wanted to share with you all the why you need to check on you. And that why is be willing to help yourself. Take time to take a moment to breathe. Take time to take a moment to be aware. Take time and take a moment to value and love on you. And you know what? Sometimes it means that you have to learn to say no. And let me tell you, in this season, I'm not only learning to say no, I just won't do it. And because I have enough energy to bring me this healing, and enough energy for me right now, and enough of what I have from God to fill me up so that I can keep moving in what he's called me to. Because the enemy knows that if we're that kind of person that's very loving, and we experience grief, we experience some challenges, we experience crisis, he'll bring stuff. He'll bombard us, he'll overwhelm us, and that's his way to take us out. But how many of you know we won't be taken out? We are more than conquerors through Christ that lives in us. So I'm excited about what God is doing. I'm excited about next week. This time I'll be celebrating my 51st birthday. I'm super excited. It will be without my mom, but I know she'll be smiling down on me. She's smiling already, because every day I have received a gift from somebody. So somebody is talking, and I thank God that you all are showing the love that you're showing. But I wanted to talk with you all tonight about taking care of you. Take care of you. Take a moment to take care of you as we represent, as we there's a representation this month of breast cancer and domestic violence. Those of you that have been in bad abusive relationship, if I'm talking to someone right now that you're in an abusive relationship, know that God loves you and that there's better for you in life. And those that have been survivors of cancer, I want to shout out my godmom tonight, Sally Bozeman. She's a survivor of breast cancer, and we thank God for that. And my best friend Step Pitts, I want to Step Pitts, Saunders, Saunders. I'm messing it up. I know I am. Forgive me, Step, but she know, and Elder, forgive me because I messed that all up. But anyway, to my friend Step, who has suffered with breast cancer and is a survivor, we give God praise. And then I lost a great friend, Laura White, to breast cancer. But I thank God that he's still alive, because her sister is doing some great works with I Am My Sister Bra. So ladies, let's go get checked this month. And also let's not be, and then even men experience domestic violence, because some of us women can be ruthless, you know? So let's make sure that we're taking care of ourselves. We're checking in, but want to share some important news with you. We are expanding. God is enlarging our territories. We are overloaded in Anderson, and God is causing us to branch out into the Lawrence County area. We've always been in Lawrence, but we're about to be very visible in Lawrence again. And so we're excited about what God is doing. We just did 1,000 book bags in the upstate, and also we did a outreach in Georgia. Thank God for an awesome team. I tell you what, I have been blessed with some wonderful people to work with me in ministry and to work with me in outreach. And when I was going through what I was going through, they looked at me and said, we can't stop. We got to push for you. And I'm so grateful that they saw the vision and they pushed the vision forward. We pushed out 1,000 book bags in the upstate. So we have coming up in November, we're going to be giving away some boxes in November to seniors and to some people with mental illness, also to our community. We also have our annual toy drive. We'll be doing it in Hinesville, Georgia. To my Hinesville people, hey, hello, we're coming back your way. Also, we'll be at 5 different apartment complexes in South Carolina. So we need your support. We need your help as God has caused our borders to be enlarged. We also even get ready to move in some international areas. Honduras is one of the areas that we've been supporting a young lady in business there. And I have the opportunity in 2023 to travel the water and go into Africa. So I am so excited, and you all will hear more about that coming up later. But we need your help. We need those that have supported us to continue to support us, continue to be a blessing to us. And we're looking for 100 people to help us. And I'm going to launch this even more on my birthday. We're looking for 100 people to join in with us and seed $35 a month. That is a total of $420 a year. You can just say, hey, I'm going to just pay my $420. Actually, I have people that have already committed to doing a $420 seed. And I want to see 13 people on my birthday to help us meet that goal of 13 people. Go ahead and plan in that one-time seed of $420. But we're asking 100 people to join us in doing a $35 offering a month to the zone to help us push what we're doing. I tell you, God has blessed us, and we are doing stuff that mega ministries are not doing. And so we are so grateful to what he's called us to and to the great work God is enlarging and trusting us with in Lawrence County. So stay tuned. You'll hear more about our outreach house that's going to be in Lawrence. It's going to be a duplication of the outreach house we have here in Anderson. And out of that house, we do a lot of service to the community. We fed over 500 people, seniors every other month with boxes of food. We've done different youth programs. We are now getting ready to hopefully be a part of another program that we've been asked to do by one of the state agencies here. We do parenting classes for our parents who are dealing with foster care or who have been court ordered to do care classes. Myself and Lucila, we do what we call Triple P. We also offer mental health first aid. So God has blessed us to do so much. We've been a blessing to so many families, to thousands of families. And we also have a initiative where we go out and we pass out hygiene and food bags to the homeless. And back during COVID, we probably gave out very close to 7,000 bags. So we need your support. We need your help. And we want you to be one of the partners, because when you sow your seed, you're sowing into, when we pass that bag off to that homeless person, or when we give that box to that senior, when we bless those young people with those toys on Christmas, or when we give away 1,000 book bags, you become a part of that. So we're excited about what God is doing, and we hope that you will join us in that. Remember that you have a why. God has called you to great things, and you're doing wonderful things in your calling and in your compassion, in the capacity of what God has called you to do and the things that you're passionate about. That's your why. But while you are working your why, be aware of your why. And that why is be willing to help yourself, take care of you, take time for you, and love on you and value you. Know that we love you at Love Zone Ministry and The Zone. I have a video. I want you to stay tuned. Please follow through this video. It's going to show you all of the outreach we've been able to do so far this year. And also, as we get ready to come into next week, I'm asking 13 people to join in and give a one-time offering with us, which will be a $35 offering a month for 2023. Do that one-time offering of doing a 420 seed and just say, I'm going to knock this out. I need 13 people for my birthday on the 13th to join in with us and help us push this initiative, because God is enlarging our territory. And then we're looking for 100 people to join us with a $35 seed every month to help us push what God has called us to do. We are faithful in the things of God. It has been 32 years that God has called me to do youth ministry and outreach, and we have been consistent. One thing that people can say about us, we've been consistent. Log on. We'll be sharing our website. We have our new website coming up for Love Zone Ministry. Look out for The Zone. Thank you for the 9 that have joined me. Thank you for the 4 that has been consistent tonight. Like and share this video. Help us reach that goal, but most of all, help us reach them. Be that extended arm that will help us reach out beyond the walls and reach to them. So we're grateful. Take care of you. Be blessed. Know that I'm okay. I only can do and take one day at a time, but I'm grateful that I'm able to do that. So you all be blessed tonight. Continue to look at this video. It's going to close us out. And I thank you for staying tuned to what we're doing. Be blessed.